Hi and welcome along, I'm Matt Jones for JA Kart Races. This is the kart channel for noobs, run by noobs, i.e. myself. Now, this video is all about changing tyres, and the majority of people that I've spoken to, whenever they come to change the tyres for the first time, have struggled, and certainly I was absolutely no different at all. And it makes it a lot harder when you're doing it in front of an audience. So I'm going to give you 4 tips which made it very easy for me to change tyres. And now I actually do quite enjoy changing tyres because it's actually something I can do. So, I've already told the first one already, and that is do it in your own time. Don't do it in front of an audience. As you can see from this video, I changed these tyres on holiday. Now, I don't generally take my karting things on holiday with me, but as we took the van with all the bikes and things with it, I took some tyres that were with me and I changed them whilst we were there. So do it in your own time, nice and relaxed. You don't have the pressure of an audience watching you. Number 2, use tyre prongs. I can safely say, out of all the things I've had to buy for karting, these are my best purchase by quite a long way. They make things really easy. You'll be using these quite quickly and they will make tyres changing very, very simple. Number 3, have a beer, as you can see from the video. Whether it's a beer or vodka or a cup of tea, coffee, whatever, just something that relaxes you, trust me, makes it a lot easier, and the beer works for me. So number 4 rule, probably the most important rule out of all of them, is that if the tyre doesn't come off easily or go on easily, then something is not right. If everything's right, it goes on easily. When it's going wrong, you're potentially causing damage to a valve or your bead screws in some shape or form and could damage the wheel. So if it's not working, stop and have a look, take a second and see where you're going wrong. So the first thing I do when changing the dry tyre is I take the bead screw out. Now, I didn't have a toolkit with me, full toolkit, so I didn't have the right Allen key, which I normally use. So this was a temporary one, but obviously it does do the trick. Unscrew those until they're literally ready to fall out, because if you start to leave the tyre off with them in, all you're going to do is bend the screw, make a bigger hole in the wheel, and then the air will get out and you pretty much ruined that wheel unless you re-drill it and re-thread it. So when you break the beads, try and break the beads away from the screws and the adapter, because if you can catch those, you can rip them and cause problems. Even so, you can also start by doing the back of the wheel first rather than the front. Whilst removing the tyre, or indeed putting the tyre back on, use the back of the wheel, because the back of the wheel is smaller than the front and it's a heck of a lot easier to put the wheel through or out of that hole. I use spray wax when taking the wheel out, putting them on. It's Malco Nanocare spray wax, but really any soapy lubrication can help you in the meantime get that off or on. As you can see, I'm actually using a foot pump to pump these up, and you can use similar pumps to pump the wheel up. I do have a compressor, but it does actually prove that it's not an expensive tool you need to buy in the shape or form of a compressor. You can just do it by hand, and obviously being on holiday, I wouldn't exactly be too popular if I crank up a compressor and start pumping tyres up on site. Once the wheels are back on, then simply just tighten up the screws so the air doesn't come out and your tyre is on. So once you've got your tyre on, just make sure you haven't done the schoolboy error which I made, which is the directional tyres were both pointing in exactly the same direction. So they were the wrong way round. So I had to take them off and do them all over again, which, to be honest, was bad practice. Now you may notice also that I've got used tyres going on there, and the reason being is that the track we're going to was renowned for having a fair amount of grip, and Josh being a novice, it wasn't massively important that we had new tyres on, because at this time when he was a novice, it was all about getting seat time, and really the difference in lap times for having new tyres and his used tyres was pretty minimal. So it's just something to think about, is that you don't have to keep putting new tyres on all the time. And this specific track, I actually spoke to other people who put new tyres on. They found that actually if they had reasonable tyres on, their lap times were pretty much the same, and in some cases were slower when they had new tyres. So have a little think about that, and practice doing your tyres, and I promise you, you will be changing tyres quickly and easily after a few goes. I'm Matt Joseph J, Kart Racers. If you like more videos like this, new one coming out soon as to how I managed to get some sponsorship, which is quite interesting because it didn't pan out the way I expected. Just click that subscribe button and the bell and you will see that video coming before too long. So thanks for watching and hope to see you again soon.